Okay, Donnelly, just a couple of other aspects I think it's worth touching on is the tourism aspect of this and the leisure and recreational use of such a beautiful area. I think maybe we'll touch on the recreational use and from what I'm seeing here, possibly a bit more. People's livelihoods may be affected here. We've got a guy out behind us doing a bit of lobster pot fishing by the looks of it. These lobster pots going across the shoreline here are a testament to a couple of things, I think. First of all, the diversity of the marine ecosystem that we have right on our doorstep. These guys wouldn't be coming out doing this if we didn't have a clean and thriving marine environment. I mean, I know myself, we've got brown crab and lobster along here which people fish for. There are many other fish species. There are common skate and other lesser species of shark out here as well. We've found egg cases on the shore regularly. But these guys here who are coming out to do this recreationally and commercially may be stopped if we have super tankers coming in here once a month, as mentioned before, and then smaller vessels mooring up to be loaded onto to go out as well. When you have this type of marine activity on an industrial scale, you find that exclusion zones are introduced. Now, anybody that travels up into Belfast Harbour on their boat, they're more than welcome to do so, but they have to abide by certain rules and regulations because of ship movements. Now, if this is put into place here, we could find where this guy's fishing, he may not be able to do that anymore. Where I come fishing on my own boat, might not be able to do it. The harbour itself here may become derelict, because if you have a restriction zone around the harbour, these recreational boat users and commercial boat users might not be able to travel in and out. What are your thoughts on the prospect of that happening to such?
I think that would be a terrible, terrible shame. Certainly when you talk about people's livelihoods, you need to be very, very protective of people's jobs. You need to be able to let people make their earnings and work in an area where they're used to doing so. Certainly if you talk about the harbour is a hidden gem. You know, it's a very, very quiet, peaceful area that people use recreationally. People use to come and sail here themselves, sailing in and out. Certainly that should be in no way be affected. Tourism is a massive, massive growth industry in this area. It's something that the council is focusing on as a growth strategy going forward. So we shouldn't be doing anything that could impinge upon that. Certainly the whole way up the coast now, this is Game of Thrones territory. This is where they filmed a lot of the Game of Thrones. We have a lot of tourists from all over the world coming to see these areas. So we shouldn't be industrialising them. We shouldn't be changing them in any way that could restrict the amount of people coming into our area just to see these things.
You're touching on the tourists coming over there. I wish I had a camera running last weekend. I was coming over from Scotland with my family on the ferry, and I was on deck. The sun was going down. It was a lovely evening, and I was talking to a lovely woman from New York who was over for a visit. And as we came up along the coast, you know, she was asking me, what are these islands behind us? The Copeland Islands. We were discussing that, the beautiful County Down coast. Asked about Muck Island, the Goblins, explained all about that, the history behind the Goblins, the Goblins Path. Game of Thrones came up in conversation as it would. Oh, that's a lovely wee village there. What's that called? That's Whitehead. Explained the history behind Whitehead. And then their face dropped. What's that? And she was referring to the jetty here. And, you know, people who say, oh, this won't affect tourism, that one wee taster of tourism coming into our country was, this is beautiful, that's fantastic, what's that? It definitely will have an impact, you're right. This wee part of the country is the gateway to Game of Thrones, to Westeros, as everybody's seen on the TV. And apart from the marine side and the shore side of tourism being affected, nobody's going to want to get on the road with hundreds of trucks rumbling up and down it every day to go and see, you know, the Northampton coast. So I think you're right. I'm glad you agree with us on that. You know, I think anybody would try to argue that point.
It would have a very, very negative impact on the area. Just the noise, the trucks, the actual look of what it would ruin, you know, to the scenic aspects of the area. Tourism is a growth industry. We're at the start of what we hope will be a tourism boom, so we need to be doing everything we can to protect our areas, and certainly that would act against it. Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm sure many people, if not all people watching this, will agree with you. I'm sure this gentleman out here enjoying this fine, lovely morning's fishing would definitely agree with you. Thank you very much.